And earlier, of course, we're on CNBC and we cannot but touch the market. So let's now cross to Dunlop Merrifield, where Abdul Gabbar is standing by to give us his thoughts on the market. The NSE all shed some gains from the previous trading session. It's now down about tenth of a percent to 36,871 points. Some of the early laggards include WAPCO, Nigerian Breweries, and Vitafoam. Can you hear me, Abdul? Are you with us? All right, hopefully they can get that volume up for you. But your thoughts about the current trend we're seeing in the market these days? A lot of people focusing on what's going on elsewhere. The US shutdown debacle. We know that there's a debt ceiling issue coming up as well. Your thoughts about how this market is trading in this context, given what's happening in other emerging markets?
Nigeria doesn't seem to be showing, the Nigerian Stock Exchange doesn't seem to be betraying any emotion to that respect. It's not behaving like some markets, some emerging markets, which are moving in tandem with the U.S. S&P Standard & Poor's 500 index, which is headed downwards in response to this concern, and has been for the last 2 days. So what we see around the Africa area, basically, it's only the Johannesburg Stock Exchange that has seen a slump.
Right, and do you think, are you surprised at this development? We know that the JSE is the largest market in Africa, and many others are pretty much considered frontier markets.
Well, this development comes, it's interesting, and it's probably welcome, because typically in the order of the ways that markets get liquidated after a concern, it starts with frontier markets, of which Nigeria belongs to, then emerging markets, which South Africa belongs to, before heading back to the more developed markets. So in this case, we have the developed market reacting, but we don't have much of a response from the frontier markets, which is usually triggered by panic, but we don't see that happening. And with the overall likelihood of this in question, of the shutdown, going beyond that certain date, the date set, October 17th, that is very slim, even though they're based on how consensus polls drawn on the news and all, it's likely that some sort of settlement will come.
Yeah, well, I think everybody's certainly hoping there will be some kind of settlement. But how do you see this impacting Nigeria's fixed income market going forward?
Well, should the United States basically default, which is an unlikely event, but if it does default on a short-term debt, as raised on the ability to fund its short-term treasury issues, it would trigger some panic in the overall financial system, in that it is seen as one of the most safest debts issued by any entity. And that would basically bring in more concern as to how all of that has been arrived at, and probably raise borrowing costs across board.
All right, so fingers crossed on how this whole debt debacle plays out. Well, your thoughts on the valuation of the market right now in Nigeria? How are you reading where the market is trading right now? A lot of people pointing to the fact that the consumer stocks, and particularly the brewery stocks, are overvalued, but then we continue to see strong interest in those companies.
Yes, we do see we do see some strong interest in that. Well, we don't have a bullish run. We don't exactly have a bullish run right now. The market is not appreciating, at least over the last few days, less than a week. But yes, last week we saw an upward adjustment. Pending news announcements coming from earnings, and then, with this new development, we've seen some resilience in the market. So it's appreciable that some stocks appear valued on the whole, in that what they can offer in terms of earnings and dividends are certainly too little given the prices that they can be reached at right now.